Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today I have my Week 3 preseason preview for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they get ready to take on the Detroit Lions in the final preseason game of the 2024 preseason. Now, we will be going live for this game. We'll have an hour pregame coverage, live play-by-play, and then also post-game coverage. We're going to have super chat raffles, all that great stuff that we do on the channel. So if you guys want to join us for our live watch party here of this football game, it starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We are going to be going live an hour before that at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for our live watch parties all season long. Every time the Steelers play a game, we're going live for it. Preseason, regular season, and hopefully postseason for the black and gold this year. So make sure you click that subscribe button to join our family and never miss a live watch party. Okay, so now my preview for this game. First and foremost, the thing that's obviously going to be in front and center in this football game is which quarterback comes out on top in terms of who wins the starting quarterback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers to start this year. And obviously it is between Justin Fields and it is between Russell Wilson. It looks like Russell is going to get the first team reps again on Saturday, and Justin Fields is going to get the second team reps, okay? But make no bones about it. Coach Mike Tomlin has not made an official decision. He has not officially made up his mind. And if he has made up his mind, he hasn't let us know which way this team is going to be going at QB1 when this team lines up against the Atlanta Falcons in Week 1. However, I do think going into this game, the biggest X factor in determining who's going to play that Week 1 matchup is how Russell Wilson plays, because he has been in the pole position throughout this entire process. He is still listed as the QB1 on the Steelers depth chart. So if he goes out there and he plays well, he keeps the offense on schedule, he gets into the end zone, he looks sharp, he looks clean, he looks like he's ready to go, I think he's going to be locking up that number one quarterback job. However, if the offense stalls again, like they did last week against Buffalo, constant 3-and-outs, no points scored, very few first downs, that's going to give Justin Fields an opportunity once again to come in and light it up. I didn't think he made the most of his opportunity when he came in against the Buffalo Bills last week. He had some really poor reps on film, in my opinion. Had some really good stuff too, but I do think he had some tough plays in that game against backup quality players. However, if he comes out and if he follows up Russell Wilson stinking it up with him lighting up the place, I think that's probably the one way he could become the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 1 here. But what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Will Russ lead a touchdown drive this Saturday with the first team offense? Give me a yes or a no for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. But before and when YouTube sends you that ad break, give me a yes or a no and answer today's pinned question. Another thing I'm really going to be watching this week is Broderick Jones, because, you look at the pass blocking grades of all the other offensive linemen on the first team for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dan Moore Jr., Isaac Seumalo, Zach Frazier, James Daniels, they're actually pretty good. The one person that's really, really bad is Broderick Jones. And when you watch the film, it's the same story. Broderick Jones is getting beat like a drum, whether it's on the right side or whether it's on the left side. Here are his preseason Pro Football Focus grades. And listen, Pro Football Focus isn't gospel, but it is a nice tool to see just how maybe productive somebody is on film. So 51.4 overall grade is really, really bad. The run blocking grade, if you believe it, is worse than the pass blocking grade. He's supposed to be a mauling run blocking type right tackle, and he hasn't been able to do either to this point. You look at the pass block grade against Buffalo last week where he gave up 3 quick pressure sacks against Greg Rousseau, and it's 40.8, right? And that just looks terrible for Broderick Jones, and he needs to play better. And if he doesn't look better, he said to the media this week that he is as healthy as he's going to be this season. So if that's true and he doesn't look better and he continues to give up quick pressure, you have to sit him. All right, you just can't afford to put somebody out there that is giving up that much quick pressure in that amount of time. You just can't do it. And honestly, Broderick's issues right now, they go beyond just playing right tackle, right? I hear a lot of people say, oh, just move it over to left tackle, he'll be just fine. And I do think he's more comfortable over there, and I think, he will play somewhat better if he gets moved over there, but his hand placement is awful. His footwork is awful, right? There's certain things here that he's showing on film that are just not fixable by just moving somebody over to the other side, especially when the current left tackle for the Steelers right now, Dan Moore Jr., is actually playing pretty darn well. His pass blocking grade is at an 85.7. His offensive line coach during the offseason's Duke Manyweather, who's the most world-famous offensive line coach on the planet, said that he had an excellent offseason this year, and he was one of the best people that worked out with him this offseason. So Dan Moore Jr. has been really impressive. So Broderick Jones has to prove that he deserves to be on the field, and he needs to do it this weekend. It's going to be a big week for Broderick Jones. If he doesn't show out, I think there's at least a chance he gets sat down once Troy Fautano does come back from that injury. Now, coming up here on Steelers Talk, 4 more storylines to watch in this Week 3 preseason matchup for your Pittsburgh Steelers. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And we all know, guys, that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live in Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. So if you love to say, I was there for all of the Steelers' biggest moments this season, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see the Steelers play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets on a bunch of different ticketing sites. I used Game Time Picks just this past weekend, guys, to go see a Major League Baseball game between the Texas Rangers and the Minnesota Twins at Globe Life Park here in Arlington, Texas, and we got some great seats at an incredible deal using Game Time Picks. But whether I'm going to watch a game or going to a concert with Cassie, whatever the case may be, I love using the Game Time app because you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the start of your event. Game Time actually rewards you for procrastinating to get your tickets, guys. That's absolutely phenomenal stuff. So you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports. That's one word, all caps, ChatSports, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code ChatSports for $20 off. Another thing I'm going to be watching out for here this week is whether or not Zach Frazier is ready to be this team's starting center week 1. Now, what I'll say to this point is that the kid's been a stud in pass protection, all right? His pass blocking grade right now through the first 2 weeks of the preseason, absolutely stellar. The anchor has been there. The footwork and the technique has certainly been there. This guy's a legit NFL pass protector from the center position. However, there are still some warts as a run blocker. He gave up multiple tackles for losses against the Bills last week, and you look at the Pro Football Focus grading, and it certainly backs up the tape. All right, the overall grade is 63.5. It's not terrible, but it's definitely dragged down by the run blocking grade at just a 58.4. And then against Buffalo, it was even worse at 45.7 when he gave up multiple TFL. So that's the area of his game where he still needs to prove himself. I think, a concern of mine with his ever since going back to West Virginia is I wasn't sure he was a great fit for a wide zone offense like the Pittsburgh Steelers. He just doesn't have the elite quick twitch that you want from a center in this type of offense. But hey, man, he's smart, he's tough, he's dependable as a pass protector. Now he just needs to finish off his profile here with a good performance as a run blocker against the Detroit Lions. Then we get to Beanie Bishop Jr. here, who did not play in the Buffalo Bills game, but he did against the Texans in week 1 of the preseason, and he didn't exactly play great. Already look at the overall grade of 51.5, not fantastic. The coverage grade is sitting below that at 51.2. He gave up some pretty big plays. He admitted that he didn't have his best game that week, and not being there in week 2 definitely didn't help his stock either. So right now, the slot cornerback battle, it's going to be won by either Beanie Bishop Jr. or Thomas Graham Jr., who got the first team reps in the slot last week. I think Thomas Graham Jr.'s had a really good camp, so I don't think that this job is necessarily locked in for Beanie Bishop Jr., but make no mistake, Beanie's got the inline road here. He's got pole position if you will. And if he goes out there and plays well, shows that he belongs on an NFL field this weekend, I think he'll be your starting slot corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1 against Atlanta. Now make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you can't wait for the season like we currently feel here at Steelers Talk, man. We feel like this is going to be a special season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, whether it's Russell Wilson or Justin Fields under center. And if you're with us every step of the way here and you're a real one, make sure you click that thumbs up icon and help today's video. Another thing I'm going to be watching out for here, Mark Robinson had a really, really good week last week. He was one of the lone bright spots on the Steelers roster against the Bills, if I'm being honest with you. He made plays in special teams. He was flying around. He made a really good play, a couple good plays in pass coverage, made some good plays as a run defender. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he plays this weekend, especially with Peyton Wilson dealing with something here. Cole Holcomb, of course, is still out. That's going to give Mark Robinson some opportunities here, okay? So I think he's going to play a lot. I'm hoping to see the same spark that I saw from him last week at Acrisure Stadium. Now, and then the final thing, I've talked about this every single preview during the preseason. Who's going to come up with the edge 4 job, okay? Because right now you got 4 people that are all vying for that final position. Kyron Johnson, I think, has the inline road right now. Jeremiah Moon is certainly somebody that could win the job as well. And then 2 UDFAs that have really shown out in camp and preseason to this point, Julius Welshoff and Jacoby Windman, both of which have had really good camps and preseasons, like I said. So my best guess here is that I think Kyron Johnson will be the 4th edge rusher that's rostered here. I think that Jeremiah Moon, Julius Welshoff, Jacoby Windman, those guys could certainly make the practice squad as well. But Kyron brings a certain level of explosiveness, into first step quickness that you just don't see every day. So I think you got TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig locked in. I think this weekend Kyron Johnson solidifies himself as the edge number 4. Okay, guys, make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Again, we're going to be going live 12 p.m. Eastern for the Saturday afternoon game, Steelers versus Lions. It's the last time we're going to see Russell Wilson and Justin Fields duke it out in a preseason game. It's going to be a lot of fun here, guys. So make sure you join us 12 p.m. Eastern on Saturday afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you join us. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.